Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. It's the Ohio State Practice Report driven by Buyers. I'm Austin Ward. This is Jeremy Birmingham of Lettermen Row. We've got a handful of Ohio State interviews behind us now. Ryan Day, a couple coordinators, players tonight after Wednesday night's practice. So preparations are pretty deep into this one, a big one. Not a lot of conversation left about Luke Fickell or any of that stuff as Ohio State gets down to business, Berm.
No, all the talk leading up to the game this week has been about Luke. It's been about him coming home to Ohio Stadium and playing the Buckeyes as the head coach of Cincinnati. But now it's about football. It's about the brand of football that Cincinnati is going to bring into the Horseshoe on Saturday, and that is a brand of football that is tough, it is physical, and it is going to be the first time in this season when Ohio State is going to really have somebody that tries to punch him in the mouth. And I think the first time really for us to find out about Ryan Day's program, which has been preaching toughness, 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 do they have it? Because it doesn't matter how much more talented they are than Luke Fickell's bunch on Saturday. Luke and his team are going to come in here angry.
That's the part that's been talked about. They've got that C logo up there, the bear paw, I believe they might call it. They know that Cincinnati, this is the Super Bowl. That's a cliche. It's a lot of teams' Super Bowl to play Ohio State, but an in-state rivalry, a lot of guys who maybe wanted to play for Ohio State and get recruited didn't get that chance. And you look at Cincinnati, what they accomplished as a top 25 team. I'm frankly shocked that they're not in the rankings right now to make this even more of appealing matchup nationally. But you look at this team, we've been talking about it for months, Berm, that this is when you find out what Justin Fields, what Ryan Day's play calling, what it's all about, because Luke Fickell and Marcus Freeman are going to have a plan and a really tough defense.
Luke Fickell single-handedly destroyed the Oregon football program, not once but twice. And that was when Oregon was the pinnacle of offensive football, the mastermind of the spread offense. And Luke Fickell in 2010 and in 2014, or 2015, I guess, single-handedly, with time to prepare for it, wiped it out. And now he's had 9 months to prepare for Ohio State. So the task at hand here is very real for Ryan Day and the Buckeyes. And as I said, they have a lot more talent than that Bearcats football team, but this is a program that is coming in here with a lot to prove and a giant chip on their shoulder. And if you know one thing about football, a lot of times it's just about want to, and these guys are going to want to.
It's interesting here on the practice report driven by Buyers Auto. We can get into what actually happened on Wednesday night now. Like everybody knows, we've broken down this matchup a bunch. We still will throughout the rest of the week. But tonight, if it's a big takeaway from me, Jay Sean Cornell kind of dropped some hints that maybe that defensive line and the rushmen are going to get healthy again. He told me flat out he was going to be back at 3-Tech this week. And the only way he can do that, we're assuming that Jonathan Cooper is still going to be on the practice report on Friday. Teron Vincent, I think, will still be there as well. Both of those guys, we're still trying to find out exactly how long and how severe that injury is. But Berm, we watched Tyler Friday and Tyreek Smith go out and do some pregame stuff. They probably could have gone if that had been a tougher game. Maybe getting an indication tonight that those guys will be back.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that Jonathan may still be out, Cooper's probably going to miss this week, I would imagine. But knowing that Tyler Friday and Tyreek Smith are back gives the Buckeyes a lot of flexibility and is going to eliminate the need for the young guys. And they played hard last week. I mean, Zach Harrison and Javonte Jean-Baptiste, they played a lot more snaps than I think anybody would have expected them to play in the game one of this season. But this is a big-time game, and I mean, people are going to see the fact that Cincinnati isn't ranked and think it should be a blowout like every other in-state battle. But again, Cincinnati should be ranked. This is a top 20 defense in the country a year ago, and it's another one. And came back, brought pretty much everyone back on their defense. So their offense may be a little suspect, but that defense is going to really put the Buckeyes in a position where they have to prove what they can do.
And where does that put an emphasis? Left tackle Thayer Munford. There was a lot of talk throughout training camp about how healthy he was going to be. I think Greg Studrawa said yesterday that he had only taken about 22 reps in scrimmages. That was the max during August. He's out there for 50 plays, and eventually he's going to need to go more as Ohio State pushes the tempo and wants more chemistry. I asked him about that tonight, and you talked to Thayer Munford as well. He said he felt fine. Maybe there was a little rust from that long layoff, didn't play in the Rose Bowl, and everybody had to go 9 months without playing a game. Right. But he was pretty adamant that he's starting to feel ready to go.
Yeah, Pete Werner said the same thing, that there were more guys in the training room early part of this week than he's ever seen there before. So it's an indicator that the Buckeyes were going very hard, especially the first-team guys on Saturday against Florida Atlantic, and that offensive line is going to be tested. And that's why, I asked we asked Wyatt Davis, does the fact that Cincinnati's energy level is going to be different, does that change anything for you? And he said it doesn't really. He just knows that it's going to be a game that's won in the trenches. It sounds cliche because every game is won in the trenches, right? But this is a game that is going to be defined by what happens early in that matchup between the Ohio State offensive line and the defensive line of Cincinnati.
All right, we'll take a quick break here with a word from Buyers Auto. We'll be back as Berm breaks down what's going on the recruiting trail.
summer's heat or winter's cold. The seasons pass, the years will roll. Time and change will surely show how firm thy friendship. Oh, hi-yo. Woo! Go Bucks! You killed that.
All right, welcome back in. Thanks to Byers Auto for bringing you this practice report. Berm, shift gears a little bit to the guys who might be in the stadium on Saturday who will not be playing, but maybe could be down the road for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, there's a couple big-time guys coming in. Ohio State commitment Luke Whippler's making his way in from New Jersey. Wrote about it on Wednesday. It's kind of crazy. He's never been to a college football game before. I would bet you if you went down the list of top 100 players in the class of 2020, he's the only player that can say he's never been to a college football game, and his father's never been to one either.
It's crazy.
Which is nuts. Ohio State will also host 2022 defensive linebacker C.J. Hicks from Dayton Archbishop Alter. He's a really good player. He's going to be a top 20 player in his class. He's just a sophomore right now, but he's got a lot of potential. And when you look at the rest of the guys coming in, I think that you're going to see the Buckeyes just really try to get a number of younger in-state guys into the stadium this weekend to get to see and meet the team, and it's a good opportunity. And I'm just going to sound weird when I say this, but I honestly think that there is a moment where these younger guys, maybe not all of them are going to end up at Ohio State, but I think that part of Ohio State's thing is to get them in front of the Cincinnati program as well. Because I think that there is a symbiotic relationship at some level between these programs, and I would bet that Ohio high school coaches and Luke Fickell and everyone else would prefer that these kids go to Cincinnati instead of Kentucky if they're not coming to Ohio State. So I think it's a great opportunity for two really big programs in the state to put their best foot forward and show what they can do and what they're building. And, there's going to be a lot of young guys, running backs, Corey Kiner from Cincinnati, Brandon McDonald from Dayton. There's a kid from Canal Winchester High School here outside of Columbus whose name just absolutely escaped me. I wrote about him this summer, and I'll get back to you on it.
Yeah, read DTE for that.
He's a really good 2022 running back, a freshman who is really special. And I think that you're going to see a lot of guys from around the state. This is not one of those weekends where there's going to be a bunch of out-of-state guys coming in. The Buckeyes are going to wait for those until October. But this is when you start building those relationships with high school coaches in Ohio, and that's really important for Ryan Day.
All right, big weekend for Ohio State and in all aspects. When you got Cincinnati coming to town, recruiting implications. Hey, the season's here. Business is about to really pick up here for the Buckeyes. He's Berm. I'm Austin Ward. This has been your brand new practice report driven by Byers Auto. We're going to be right back here every week. Thanks to our sponsor, and we'll see you next week. We preview another game. Till then, see ya.